something new today. I've been writing in journals since I was 18 years old. So about 14 years. I have 15 volumes of journals, and I thought maybe you guys might be interested in having me read from them. Maybe as a way to relax. Maybe as a way to find out how absolutely screwed up I am. But I thought it could be interesting. So I'm going to make a couple of recordings, starting pretty much right now, to see whether you'd like the sound of it. This first journal began in 1996. It's got a number of pages to it, obviously, and I think I filled this one up right to the very, very, very end. Or just about, anyway. I had a problem with finishing journals sometimes. But let's see what happens. Well, they're not letting me go to my apartment this weekend. That really sucks. I was so looking forward to Kay and I having some time alone, but I guess that will never happen. It's a great annoyance to me. Oh well. Mother and I had an appointment with Dr. O and Dr. O today. Went pretty well, but we got into a major argument about how I should or should not limit my sexual escapades. I don't think that's any of our business, personally. Unfortunately, the doctors don't share my opinion. It's torture being near Kim, but yet not being able to do anything. The point of this book is to note anything that may be important or interesting, so expect it to jump around a lot. What is spirituality? What is the point of worshiping a God that you can't see? Faith in the hereafter is the only answer. People pledge their faith to an invisible God. I find myself spending as much time alone as I possibly can. I just can't be alone much anymore. Being under close observation is a royal pain in the ass. It's not like I really need to be. Maybe once, but not anymore. The only thing that could make me want to die again is Louis. He's bugging me more and more, angry that I'm trying to rid my mind of him. Makes sense, I guess. He's just a little annoying, taking over my body and mind. The decision has been made to recopy my original journal into this new book. The following will be such. When I go downstairs or out of the ward, I feel nervous. I find that I forget things much more than I used to. No hallucinations to speak of yet, but voices from inside other people's heads are getting louder and harder to silence. When I'm off the ward, I feel scared, uneasy, as if I'm being watched. I don't know how to explain any of these things, but I know that it will be harder as time progresses. I have my first meeting with that doctor who is not the nurse tomorrow, Dr. S. I realize now that my problems is perhaps much bigger than I first prepared myself for, perhaps even too big for me to handle. I like G and J. They are nice and talk to me. They want to help me. Except G. He cares, but his thoughts betray him. He's like myself, selfish. And yet that is not me any longer. I am progressing in a downward, unlit tunnel, occasionally landing on a precipice. This depression is a precipice, deep enough that I don't know if I can climb out. I do want to climb out. It's just so hard to climb. I cut my hands and feet with each step. Each handhold that breaks away could only be a piece of my sanity. And I know that I'm in danger of falling into this murky, black void that is my mind. But I ask myself, is falling such a bad thing? Would I find myself at peace with myself? Or is there a hell? I believe that this is the hell of mine, by design, unescapable. Like the fury of my own mind, is normal and what isn't. There is no right to exercise such power under a true motive. The power of my mind must be unemotional, for it cannot be anything else. Why can I hear the thoughts of people that no one else can hear? What is the point? To drive me crazy? I would think. Even when I am at rest, my head still hurts. The feelings and powers seemingly at my disposal aren't natural, not of God. But who is God? Surely he would be the one who has absolute power over everything. But for what purpose? Is there a God only to be a God? Only so that what we believe can have a focus, a point of reference? This man in the bed next to mine has a squirrely mind, so full of violence but so unable to express it. Is that what led H to do what he did? Is that what will lead me to do what I will do? It has happened, with different outcomes and consequences, but has happened. Who is to say that trying to end an unsuccessful life won't result in more misery? Who has that right? God? I shall say not. Not in 1,000 years. No God will have a say or be able to dictate how my life or unlife proceeds. This mortal body is just a vessel for traveling from one place to another. These different planes are simply our lives. True, undeniable power lies in the soul. To free it, all you must do is act as the soul wishes, by sacrificing the body so that the soul may be free once again to roam. Asking where merely tells the experience. Some say that the quality of life determines the quality of death. But why, I wish I knew. But even as my memory fades from me, I know that I will never know. Apparent, if only to myself, that my time here is limited. My goal, my very purpose, is to free my soul. But I can't remember. I can't let that happen. People care. Why can't I? I do, just not in a way that others can see. Maybe I don't care. So who cares if anyone can see this, or even if I can see this? Will this be the last room that I will see before my time comes to adjust? It's just a question of when, ever. I don't know, or should know my time. October 31st, 1996. Don't know why, but know why. H's mind is so full of anger, it's beginning to intrude upon my own thoughts. The focus of this anger seems to be on two people. I can only see one through his mind, a taller man, mustache, dark, semi-short, dark-shaded glasses, wearing a business suit. I don't understand the connection. The new man here in the ward with the wheelchair seems to have already made some enemies. Jay doesn't like him because he moved her puzzle. I know that man is faking any illness. Unfortunately, there's no way to tell for sure, other than what I feel is true. The cuts on his legs seem to indicate that he wanted to die, and yet, the very presence on his legs makes me wonder. I feel nothing violent from his mind, only seems to want attention. He didn't want to die, or still does. He's not crazy enough, though. He only wants us to believe that he's lonely. Much like this other woman, sitting beside me. She's lost her way, is hurting very much. Like me, my spirit has improved somewhat. B, the pharmacist, said it would be possible for me to get my hands on a computer. I saw one today, a laptop, used by some shrink while she gathered information on a patient. I was drawn to it. I felt relieved that they were still within my grasp, as it were. As if the lack of me to operate them would cease their existence. I must lay my hands on one and play soon. I guess I'm going through withdrawal or something. It's very nice here. I like all the patients. I'm beginning to understand beginning to become strong enough to deal with them. Like Jay told me, I am one of those, one of them, one of us, she said. No one has ever said such a thing to me before. I can't trust her, though, yet. Not yet. Hard to deal with, this which binds us all together. I have to persevere. I do have far so much potential to waste. My mind is becoming stronger with the more rest that I get. Reading seems easier now. I have no idea if it's fabricated or if it's real. Logic says no one should have this power. But if we are all the same, then what is the use of being alive? Of there being more than one person on the earth? Unless we each have something to add. Some way to benefit each other. Maybe that's my future. The point of the fortune teller. I had to help people. Perhaps that being a shrink is my calling. Time will tell. I found out that Jay has been here for 7 months. Apparently he's schizophrenic. I think I will get B, the pharmacist, to pull up the details of that illness just for the fun of it. Oh, I got my diploma today. As I look at today's Sunshine Girl, I realize that I have not lost my desire for sex. I was thinking about why I want to die. Or should I say wanted? No. Saying I want to die will do. One of the reasons is, or was, because of Jay. When he didn't want to be friends any longer, I think that it just annoyed me a little. For a lot of years, the only reason I stayed alive was just so I could protect him. I suppose he really doesn't need to be protected, but I felt he did, and that kept me going. I'm asking Pharmacist B to look up some stuff for me, merely to satisfy my own curiosity, I guess. Last winter, when we had that crappy little shovel, I told my dad I wouldn't do the driveway until he got a new one. He refused, and I refused, and we almost came to blows. A fight I would have won. My reflexes were much quicker then. Well, I was rejected from the 1 o'clock group today. Kay said that I'm not comfortable talking with people, which is true. However, I think I can handle it with a little effort. And I am willing to try, you know. It's just hard to deal with all those thoughts. She said that it would be a traumatic experience for me. Damn straight it would. Shouldn't mean that I can't try. Jay says that he will require my hacking services. I wish I could tell him I know next to nothing about hacking. It's all luck, I know this. B, my doctor, says that I should be here for at least another week. He'll give me passes so I can leave more. It's just that I don't want to leave. I like it here. Am I lazy to the point where I would rather die than work? As per Dr. B's suggestion, I'm writing more in my book. It provides a window of escape for me. I needn't fear writing anything in it anymore. My condition is getting worse. My ability to concentrate has decreased significantly. I find it very difficult to have a conversation because the words are just not there. My memory has also gotten worse. I have great difficulty remembering what I did when I got up this morning. My dreams are becoming more vivid. I know that I actually woke up while talking to someone. The voices from everyone's thoughts are becoming louder and much harder to block out. And now there is another voice. It began as a whisper, like it was gaining strength or something, I don't know. I got accepted into the group today. Feels kinda good being accepted. My head hurt like a bitch, but I'm still happy. The voices from others are getting louder now, and that other voice is becoming more abusive, telling me stuff like you're not good enough, and just generally distracting me. Though I manage to stay focused, I can't seem to block them out any longer. I survived my first group session. All I left with was a headache. I think the group will do me some good, though I must admit to feeling slightly awkward about discussing my feelings in front of people. Perhaps easier if not for the constant rattling of people's thoughts in my head. I found out that I'm being transferred to the Foothills Hospital on Tuesday, into the youth program there. Apparently it's better suited to my needs. I wonder if this means there will be other disillusional, suicidal peoples there. My spirit has appeared to me twice now, if only for an instant. Once in the form of Louis, and once as Q. We got a new patient here to take the place of crazy wheelchair guy. He's only got one leg, and he seems to be slightly maladjusted, or drugged. I can't figure out which. It's neat. I haven't even left yet, and I already know that I'm really gonna miss this place. I have a constant headache, and I always hear the thoughts. But it's home. The friendships that I have made will last almost as long as my Ativan does. Still, I've enjoyed myself immensely. We've received some new patients here on G6. One is an obviously senile old man with a bladder problem. His mind is very confused. I think he's really funny. We also have a few more women. All are sort of screwed up. My mind is sort of seizing up right now. Louis doesn't like Brian either. Well, I'm getting transferred tomorrow to the Foothills, and frankly, I'm scared to leave. The thoughts of starting again is frightening for me. After all, I'm just getting used to this place. Jake G is coming to visit me in a little while. She called and asked if she could. I can't believe Dr. W is apparently going around telling everyone about Kim and I. That was stupid of him. I just want to kill him. What business is it of his if I can go around spreading what I told him? He won't get anything from me anymore. Now I have to decide whether Kay and I should continue dating. I want to hurt him a lot right now. C just had a brutal hallucination. A man in a darkened room was approaching her. He was just too dark to see, but it was someone close to her. I could feel that much. It was amazingly real to her. It must have happened fairly soon. It had to have, because it's all too real. Painful even for me. I guess he was one of the people who molested her. I say one because there were more than one. I think 3 or more, though not sure why. C is her name. I will now continue to transcribe my journal. I didn't know I had stopped transcribing my journal. I didn't put dates back then. Not until much later in the book. It's, a little confusing. I don't know when it's supposed to be. My dog is woofing in the background. Anyway, find a convenient place to stop. Maybe this is the convenient place to stop. Yeah, I think I'll stop here. I'll mark my place. And if I get a couple of viewers, or anyone who shows any interest, I'll continue. So this is Volume 1, 1996 to March of 2002. So I obviously skipped a little bit. But journaling is kind of it's a hobby, right? You make time for it, or you don't make time for it. Anyway, thanks for listening.